This is Fred Allendale, and in this tutorial we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of the HUD texturing kit now and show you a little bit about how it works and how you could modify it to make your own HUD work. So I'm going to open a graphic here that will give you, and this is in your in the HUD kit, so you'll get all these graphics as well. This will give you an overview of how the buttons work or what they can do. And as we went over, this is a generic HUD now. The artwork on here isn't for any specific application, so it's a good starting point for you to build your own HUD. But again, you have flexibility to change the artwork or the HUD buttons and positions that you use. So we have color and texturing presets, user selected colors, a favorite color section, the color picker itself, item 4, the button to put in RGB color entry, and the ability to resize target objects, to lock in the values that you've loaded into your target object so that the user would use that once he was done customizing it to his requirements. And then there's a subscribe to kiosk or join a Second Life group button. And you can have as many or as few of the type 1, 2, or 3 buttons as you want. You can only have one each of the buttons 4 through 9, and they have unique names. The other buttons, the type 1 and type 2, you can name any way you want, but then you don't have to have a particular name constraint. We'll see how that looks in just a second. Now this next graphic, which is also available in your HUD kit, gives you an overview of how the whole process works. So the texturing HUD script goes into the HUD. The texturing HUD target script goes into the target object or objects if you have more than one. And then you can use your included in your kit a target profiler or a target face finder script to help you identify the face numbers, the prim numbers or the link numbers, and what textures and colors are applied. So you can, for example, in your object, you can set up the first set of textures and colors that you want, and drop in either the face finder script, which works with just one face at a time. You touch a particular face on that object, it will flash it so you can know what face it's touched, and it will chat out a parameter line that includes the link number, the face number, the texture, and the color on the face that you touched. The target profiler script is similar, but it actually scans the entire object and prints out a list of all the faces and all the link numbers and all the textures and colors that are applied to that. And they're in a format such that you can then cut and paste those into, or copy and paste those into the configuration note card. So the configuration note card also goes into the HUD along with the script. The script reads the parameters for each button off the configuration note card, and that defines what it does when the HUD initializes. So I'll go over a little bit of what each section does here. The first line is the actual button name. So the name of whatever you want to call these buttons. It can be button 1, 2, 3, or group 1-2, or however you want to name them. It's totally up to you. But the first button needs to be needs to have define the name of that button. Then the next line is what target object do you want that button to apply to? And in this case, this would be for the first target object. If you have more than one, you actually have another block of parameters down here that you can define another target object 2, like in the case of the shirt and vest example, and that button will also apply to. And then if you also want to apply it to all objects where you don't want to have to put the name in, in some cases you might want the HUD to work with different sizes of objects where you have the same textures and link numbers and everything, but the sizes are just different, so they might have different names. You can put a target name of using the word all in capitals, ALL. And that will affect all objects within 10 meters. The HUD has a maximum range of 10 meters. And of course, it has to be an object that's owned by the same person as the HUD is owned by and has the texturing HUD target script in it. So it can do any number of objects. You could have 20 objects out there if you wanted to. And then the lines that follow that specify all the link, face, texture, and color numbers that button applies to this target object, or if you have all to all target objects. So the link is simply the link number or prim number. The face is the face number, and the texture, it would be a UUID of the texture to be applied. And the color would be typically would be an RGB value, three numbers 0 to 255 separated by commas. And you can repeat these lines for as many combinations as you needed. So I could do link 1 face 2, link 1 face 3, face 4, a different color or different textures. And then you would repeat the same block if you had more than one object that's out there. You actually don't need, if you put all up here, you don't need to repeat the target name. It will take the last target name that it saw and apply it to everything that follows until it gets to another button name. And then basically you repeat this block then for each button on the HUD. So each button is basically fully programmable to do anything that you want to any combination of faces, links, and objects. Now there are some other values that can go into these parameters. The button name, of course, has to be the name of the button. The target name is the target object or all. For the link number, which is the prim number, it can be a specific number. Or it could be all if you want to apply something to all links in a particular object, or all prims in a particular object. Same thing with the face number. You can apply it to a single face, or you can apply it to all faces. In the case of the texture, there's even a little more flexibility. It can have the texture UUID or the encrypted UUID, and I'll explain how that works later. You can say none, in which case that button will not apply a texture. You might just want a button to apply a color but not change the texture. So you replace the UUID with the word none in capitals. The third option is button, and that means basically it will take whatever texture is on the face of that button and it will apply that to the object. So there's a lot of flexibility in where it gets the texture from. Similarly, in the case of color, there you can put a color name in there: red, green, blue, cyan, magenta, yellow, and cyan. I think I said that. But anyway, there's 8 standard color names. Or you can provide an RGB value, which are basically 3 numbers separated by commas, ranging from 0 to 255 each. You can put in again none, where it will not apply a color. So that might be you might do that if you're applying a texture, but you don't want to apply any particular color. Although often if you're applying a texture, you'll probably want to apply a white color background. Similarly, the button parameter lets you get it, tells it to get the color from the face of the button, and it has to be this front face. It's actually face 4. Of each button cube. And the last option under color, you can put the word picker, and in that case those buttons will get their color from the color picker.
And that you saw that in the previous demo, where when I changed the color picker color over here, the buttons appeared, the face of these buttons changed to that color. That's because in the parameter for color for these 4 buttons, I use the word picker, so it gets it from the color picker and not from the parameter line itself. So as you can see, there's a lot of flexibility in terms of how you set this up as well. So this graphic is very useful for learning and getting kind of the overall concept. And it's important to get the overall concept. You can get confused down in the lower level details, but if you just remember that there's a block of parameters here for each button to tell the system, the HUD, exactly what to do when the user clicks one of these buttons, what to texture, where to get the color and the texture from, and where to put it on the target object. So I think we'll end this tutorial here, and we'll pick up in the next tutorial and show you now how this is applied to the example shirt and vest example that we showed you before. And thank you for purchasing the Texturing HUD Advanced.